We've mapped every crater on Mars. We've seen galaxies 13 billion light years away. We know the surface temperature of planets we'll never visit. But we've only explored 5% of our own oceans. Let that sink in for a second. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about 95% of our own planet. And honestly, that's not just embarrassing. It might be the dumbest decision humanity has ever made. Because what we are missing down there could literally save us. And the reason we are missing it reveals something pretty disturbing about how we make decisions as a species. When I say we've only explored 5% of the ocean, here is what that actually looks like. Imagine you live in a 20-room mansion, but you've only ever been inside your bathroom. You have no idea what's in the kitchen, the basement, the attic, or the other 19 rooms. You just assume they are empty. That's basically humanity's relationship with planet Earth. We've got detailed maps of Mars. We can tell you the exact composition of rocks on the moon, but ask us what lives 3 miles down in our own oceans, we are basically guessing. And here is the kicker. The stuff we are missing down there isn't just interesting. Some of it could literally solve humanity's biggest problems. Cancer, climate change, pollution, energy. The answers might be sitting right underneath us, and we are out here taking pictures on Mars. But why? Why have we basically ignored our own planet? To understand why we've avoided the deep ocean, you need to see what's actually down there, because it's not just water. The ocean isn't just one thing. It's like different worlds stacked on top of each other. The first 100 meters, that's your world, the sunlit zone, where you swim at the beach, go scuba diving, take those Instagram photos. This is where humans feel comfortable. But at 200 meters deep, something changes. The light starts to fade, and by 1000 meters, total darkness. We are talking pitch black for miles in every direction. And the creatures that live down there, they've had millions of years to evolve in this alien environment. We are talking about fish with transparent heads so they can see their own brains. Fish with lights on their bodies to attract prey in the darkness. Fish that can unhinge their jaws to swallow something their own size. This is what lives at 1000 meters, and that's still the shallow end. At 4000 meters, we hit what scientists call the midnight zone. It's not just dark, it's like swimming through space, except space is trying to crush you. At 6000 meters, the pressure is so intense, it would implode your body before you even realized what was happening. And at 11,000 meters, the deepest parts of our oceans, the pressure is 1,100 times what you're feeling right now. Imagine 100 elephants sitting on your chest. That's every square inch of your body. But here is what blew my mind during this research. Things live down there, not just survive, thrive. And they are producing compounds that we are just starting to discover. Which brings me to the real question. If this world exists on our own planet, why can't we get there? Because the deep ocean is basically designed to kill anything that doesn't belong there. Let's start with pressure. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the pressure is so intense that if you could somehow survive it, your blood would literally turn to jelly. Any air in your body would compress to nothing. Your lungs would collapse like a punctured balloon. The only things that survive down there have no air pockets in their bodies at all. They are basically living water balloons because water doesn't compress, but air does, violently. Then there is the cold. We are talking near freezing temperatures. And it doesn't gradually get colder as you go down. There is this zone called the thermocline, where the temperature just drops off a cliff. Your equipment has to handle tropical surface temperatures and then near freezing depths without breaking. And remember, it's completely dark down there. You need lights, but here's the problem. There is something called marine snow, basically debris falling through the water that reflects light. So your camera just sees a blizzard of particles. It's like trying to take a photo during a snowstorm while wearing sunglasses. Oh, and if your vehicle kicks up any sediment from the ocean floor, the water turns milky and you can't see anything for hours. But the real killer here is communication. You've got two choices. You can communicate over long distances using sound waves, but your data transfer is painfully slow, or you can use lasers for high-speed data, but only over short distances. It's like choosing between dial-up internet that works everywhere or fiber optic that only works in your bedroom. Neither is great when you're trying to explore miles of ocean floor. So, we've built vehicles that can handle the pressure. The Bathyscaphe Trieste made it to the bottom of Mariana Trench in 1960. James Cameron did it again in 2012 with the Deep Sea Challenger. In 2019, we did it again with Victor Vescovo. But here is what's crazy. More people have been to space than to the deepest parts of our oceans. We've had over 500 people in space. Know how many people have been to the deepest part of our planet? 4. Which tells you something about our priorities. But the biggest barrier to ocean exploration isn't actually the pressure or the cold or the darkness. The biggest barrier is that we've collectively decided that the unknown out there is more important than the unknown down here. NASA's budget, about $25 billion a year. NOAA's budget for ocean exploration, less than $2 billion, and that's not even just for exploration. That's for weather monitoring, fisheries, all of it. We spend more money in 1 year looking at Mars than we've spent in the last decade exploring our own oceans. And I get it. Space is exciting. It's the final frontier. Boldly going where no one has gone before. All that. But here is what's wild. We are spending billions trying to find life on other planets while we are still discovering new forms of life in our own oceans every single day. It's like searching for treasure in your neighbor's backyard while ignoring the unopened vault in your own basement. And what's in that vault might be exactly what we need. Remember those weird creatures I showed you earlier? The ones that look like something from a horror movie? Some of them are producing compounds that fight cancer. There is a green sponge living in the deep that produces chemicals that are effective against lung and pancreatic cancer. A sponge, just sitting there on the ocean floor, potentially holding the key to saving millions of lives. We've found organisms that literally eat pollution. They consume toxic solvents, heavy metals, industrial chemicals, stuff that we dump into the environment and can't figure out how to clean up. Nature already solved that problem. We just haven't looked hard enough to find the solution. There are creatures down there that could revolutionize biofuel production. Clean energy, just waiting to be discovered and understood. And the ocean floor is covered in polymetallic nodules, basically potato-shaped lumps of manganese, copper, cobalt, and nickel. The exact materials we need for better batteries, for renewable energy storage, for electric vehicles. It's just sitting there. But here's the thing that really gets me. Better ocean exploration could completely revolutionize weather prediction. The deep ocean drives our climate system. Those currents, those temperatures, they are what create our weather patterns. If we actually understood what was happening down there, we could predict hurricanes better, understand climate change better, maybe even do something about it more effectively. Everything we need, cleaner energy, better medicine, pollution solutions, climate answers, it's probably down there in that unexplored 95%. And we are out here taking selfies with Mars rovers. Now, I'm not saying ocean exploration is easy or cheap. Building vehicles that can handle those conditions costs serious money, but we've proven it's possible. We've done it before, we can do it again. The question is, are we going to keep looking up at the stars while ignoring the alien world beneath our feet? So next time you see one of those amazing Mars rover photos, and they are amazing, just remember, we know more about that red dust than we do about 95% of our own blue planet. And maybe, just maybe, it's time we fixed that. Because the answer to humanity's biggest challenges might not be millions of miles away on some distant planet. It might be right here, 3 miles down, waiting for us to finally look in the right direction. If this made you realize how backwards our exploration priorities really are, I will be making similar videos every week. Click the subscribe button below.